Yo, what's going on, everybody? Keep almost in full color, and today we're doing the Tokyo Ghostwire review. From here on, I'll actually do these things a little different, so I want to let you know off break that I do think Tokyo Ghostwire is a really good game. However, I do not think it's a $60 game. I think that if you can get it for 40 bucks via coupons or finding it marked down during a sale event, then it would be really good to go into. But I think $60 is a little too much, and I'll begin to explain why. If you have a PS5, which this game is for, but if you have access to the PS Store, which you should, there is a Tokyo Ghostwire Prelude. It's a graphic novel type deal, so you just kind of watch a comic book unfold, graphic novel unfold. You could actually do this through YouTube. It's probably going to be the easier way, not to wait for the download and all that. There have been some people who uploaded the whole Prelude, and that will actually give you a lot more context into what is going on. In-game story, it is solid. However, some things are missed if you do not watch that. Like, you don't need it, but it helps tremendously to kind of really get the bigger picture of everything that's going on. Some things will be less of a mystery, given that the game is kind of based in Japanese horror. I kind of feel like maybe not watching it would still give you that mysterious feel to the game as to what's going on, what's this big paranormal activity that's happening right now, and I think that does help with that. But the story is very solid, no real issues here. It's nothing that's really breaking the bank, if you will. It's nothing that's really gonna shock and awe you. It is a good story, and if you have watched Japanese horror films, this story and this game definitely is an ode. It's a love letter to Japanese horror. And it's really nice to see. I've watched many Japanese horror films, and a lot of it really will take you aback if you're like, oh wow, I know exactly what movie they pulled this from, and I've seen a lot of these things. So it's just really cool to see all of that, and I really enjoyed that. As far as gameplay goes, I had a little bit of an issue early on, and the reason is the game started off for me in quality mode and motion blur was turned to high. These things, for whatever reason, and I think paired with being a first-person game, caused me to start feeling sick. Like, I started to get a headache, and just, I guess, motion sickness began to set in for me. It was really weird. The game was very stuttery. It just did not feel the best at all. So like my first 2 hours of playing this game was a very terrible experience, to be honest with you all. When I finally got some common sense in me, or something clicked in me to check the settings, I went in and changed it to performance mode, and I turned motion blur all the way off, and boy, let me tell you what, a tremendously different experience. Like it's tremendously different. It's stupid how night and day it is. Going from quality to performance, I did see a degradation, if you will. And the game already, at the beginning anyways, I think your first 3 hours, you'll begin to see kind of tiers of how things look. And you have like your really good hitting on all cylinders. Things have kind of degraded a little bit, and whoa, like this looks really bad right here. What is going on? About after that 3 hour period into the game, for whatever reason, I don't know what happened, but I stopped seeing it as much. I don't know if my eyes acclimated, but in that first 3 hour window, also when I just went from quality and now I went to performance, I noticed a tremendous difference. However, with that being said, the game does look really good, and also we see a lot, like I said, a love letter to Japanese horror films. A lot of cool effects are really used, with things moving on the wall, shadows running, and I'm very happy about that. Like, it became a really good, like, the environment felt alive. And I think that was the feel that they wanted to go for, was making you feel like you were in a paranormal world where things are moving, things are always out to get you. And I think they really did a good job at capturing that feeling. But with that feeling came some weird things. Sometimes they would dial up the intensity, and you would have to go run to the door and open the door, and that would trigger a cutscene, which kind of like drew you back some. It's like, I'm being chased, I need to make it to this door. You get to the door, you open the door, bit of a load screen. We're on the PS5, the load screens aren't that bad. They're like 2 seconds, but still, when you have that feeling of something's chasing me, and then you kind of abruptly stop, and then you have to go back, it does take away from that. I wish they found a way to hide those load screens and make it really feel like, okay, I'm still being chased, I'm still trying to get away, because just sometimes it just cut down on those intense moments, and I really enjoyed them. You know, it just took away. The gameplay in terms of the weaving of signs, I'm not gonna lie, slightly was disappointed because I was hoping to be able to weave signs like myself with the analogs, or I was really curious as to how it's gonna happen. You really don't do that. You kind of just choose which element you want to work with. If it's wind, if it's water, if it's fire. You have a bow and arrow, so you kind of just, like, you go to your weapon wheel, choose what you're using, R2 to shoot. Same old, same old. You do use some type of a weaving of signs, but it's very, very limited. You don't use it all too often, and I think that was for the better, actually, in terms of the way that they did it, because it would have got a little bit annoying if you weaved wrong or something like that. But I mean, I really kind of still do wish that it existed in combat to where you could weave a fire sign and you would shoot a fireball. In hindsight, after playing, I think that would be an arduous task to really get through. So I'm not mad at it, and I'm actually really happy that, that's not a thing, because the gameplay is pretty robust. It is pretty fun. Pro tip, you should invest in your bow and arrow. I'm not going to spoil it for you, but your bow and arrow you should kind of invest in, all right? So put some of them skill points down there. Speaking of the skill tree, the skill tree is what a lot of games have. With the skill tree, you got a lot of different skills that help the gameplay. Some of them just help with traversal. Some of them really, really make that fire, water, and wind style pop. Like, it really just made, like, fire style, you will run people with that. Speaking of the skills and traversal, the map isn't too big, and one of the things I disliked, kind of sort of, is you do a lot of backtracking. So it makes it feel like the map is bigger than what it is, but really you're just doing a lot of backtracking, forward tracking, backtracking, forward tracking. I mean, it's okay. You end up finding a lot of things that you probably wouldn't have found without backtracking and forward tracking. And maybe that's kind of the whole point, was to get you to kind of really go out and explore. I did kind of feel like, I gotta run back over here, I gotta run back over here. Fast travel is a thing, but like I said, the map isn't really like crazy big. You have a lot of buildings that you can enter that, have their own little segments. And some of the side quests, there are tons of side quests, take you into some of these buildings, and some of them I hate because you have to backtrack out. You can't, there isn't like a door that you could just walk out at the end of the side quest, which some of them do, which is the annoying part. Some of them, after you finish the side quest, there's a door right there. You exit the door, you're out, you're back out in the wild. Other ones, it's like, nah, you're gonna need to backtrack to the beginning, and it's like, God, so annoying. But all in all, I thoroughly enjoyed this game. I thought it was great. $40, it would be really, really good. $60 though, I think is a little steep. It took me roughly 10 hours and 40 minutes to beat. I could have beat it sooner than that, to be honest with you all, but I really wanted those Jizo statues. The Jizo statues give you an extra charge to your elemental styles. So fire style, like I said, is dummy, and I had like 12 fire charges, I want to say, going towards the end. The game is robust. It has a lot going on. It's nothing new in terms of groundbreaking, breathtaking, or anything like that. It's a solid game. It's a fun ride. If you're a big fan of Japanese culture, Japanese horror, I think that you will really like this game and really enjoy it. For anyone else who kind of was about it, if you missed this one, you're not missing a whole lot. It does kind of suck to me that this is Bethesda's last game with PlayStation right now, and this is the way that they go out. I was just hoping for a little more pop with this. So ultimately, for me personally, it kind of makes me like, oh, well, if these other things are going to Xbox, I don't feel so bad. And I want to feel bad about these things going away. But for me personally, it's just like, it was fun while the ride lasted. But, if this is the end, so be it. So again, good game. If you catch it on sale, I think it'd be a good game for a sale piece. Make sure that you turn that motion blur off and that quality mode off. I am telling you, it is going to do you wonders in your gameplay. I hope you all enjoy this video. I hope this helps somebody out. And as usual, peace, be easy, be blessed, and don't let Entrepreneur Cat ring your pockets.